Welcome to the third stop on the Viessmann World Cup Women's Skeleton Tour. We move to the track in Lake Placid, New York on a very blistery winter day. This will be the run one of women's skeleton. And again, snow has invaded the northeast of the United States, clearing a little bit here in the afternoon, but the conditions will dictate the results of this competition. And this track in Lake Placid, built in 2000 for the Goodwill Games. Very, very challenging. The start record held by Katie Eulander of the United States. I don't know if we're getting any start records today, but the track is a real big challenge. Big curve up here, straight away, 2-3. A lot of history and tradition in this track. This cliffside curve was named after the old track, a section of the track over there called Cliffside. Whiteface was to be the old connector from the 1.5-mile track on the old track. So again, this mountain has hosted the 32 and 80 Winter Olympic Games competitions in bobsled. And now we have skeleton. Here's shady 2, because there's a shady 1 on the other track. Famous curve. Now we go into Benham's Bend, named after Lake Placid native Stan Benham, who won 2 silver medals at the Oslo Winter Olympic Games. Here's the heart, big sweeping left, a lot of G's, 2 quick curves down here, 18, 19. You got to watch out down there. Uphill section, real crucial. You can lose a lot of time there. Through, down, one of the most challenging tracks on the circuit. A lot of people will like to see this in their rearview mirror when they leave and go to Europe.
18 and climbing up curve 19. Once again, this is our final pilot sled.
Here's Women's Skeleton World Cup standings. Elizabeth Yarnold of Great Britain is the leader. Alina Nikitina from Russia. How about Michelle Steele, Shelley Rutbin, Sarah Reed? 6 different nations in the top 6. Tells you how competitive skeleton is. And Nikitina will be the first person down in today's competition. One of the favorites, though, not listed there. Look at that number 15th, 16th place, Noel Pike's pace. She's won both events. The only problem was, in Calgary, she was disqualified. So she's way back in the field. She'll start 16th, but last week she started last of 27 and still won the race. So, and she's on a track that she's very familiar with. There's the big heart curve. Look at the conditions. The air, it's cold, it's windy, the ice is cold. You can see the spectators that are out here that are bundled up. And the wind is really gusting around our announce booth here. You can see the snow on the track. They've done a fantastic job with keeping the track in as good of conditions. And then one of the reasons is the track's covered. So most of the track, 80% down, is pretty well covered. So that's why we're able to host this competition today without the weather having a tremendous influence in the result. You can see the start lists. Nikitina will go first, Thompson from Canada second. Here's the second. Anya Huber, Giordani, Thies, Eulander. And we have a total of 23 sleds in the field, and every sled is vying for a position in the Olympic Games in Sochi. Here's Alina Nikitina. 2nd in World Cup points, 2nd at the World Cup in Calgary, 6th at the World Cup in Park City. Really good young Russian athlete who's gaining confidence every time she comes down every track. She's one of the Russian hopes in Sochi.
Start time for Russia's Alana Nikitina.
So to start, she's first one down, 5:39, way off the track record of 5:25. Sun breaking through, surprising, because we've had such a storm come in here overnight. A lot of these shades will stay down because of the wind. These shades protect the wind from blowing drifts of snow into the track. Ooh, look at that little pop. Exit of shady. This is no easy track to get down. Much more challenging than Park City and Calgary. Different personalities, all 3 tracks. Ooh, really low. Watch out here. She's really struggling here in the bottom part of the track. Her feet are every place. And she's finding out there's a little different challenge here. Look at that picture right there. So you can see the weather. Mother Nature does have some influence here. We're hopefully won't have influence on the results, but I'm sure Miss Nikitina will be the first one to tell you that was some hellacious ride. Exit of shady. Whoa! You know, and that's about 70 miles an hour. Drags her toes. Now here, look how low she is here. Look at her diving. She has to go up on the outlet, way up high on the outlet. She crossed steers 3 times.
The track is now clear.
She had her hands full all the way down the track.
One for Robin Thompson.
Robin Thompson from Canada. Eighth and 10th in the first 2 World Cups of the season. Puts her in 8th place overall. World Cup debut a couple weeks ago in Calgary, but boy, look how far back she is from Nicotina.
Time for Thompson.
But
she's off the
if
pace
she
a bit,
can
she'll
drive
get
the sled,
glide
she
and
can
carry that
overcome
momentum
that
through
start deficiency,
the upper section of the track as she
because
comes down through
Nicotina
white
was all over the place. It's John Morgan. I'm bringing you this first heat of competition. Joined later by Nick Gismonti. Had some flight travel issues, but he'll be in the booth here before the end of the first heat. Now she's got it from 22 down to 17. Look at the speed, 113 and clean. Now watch how high she gets in this curve. Perfect. See, that's a different line than Nicotina. And she crosses over here correctly, she could catch her. She did. It's already green numbers. Here she comes in out of the 19th curve uphill. Look at the difference in time. Awesome ride for Robin Thompson. Now that shows you right there what good driving will do. She was at a tremendous deficiency, 22 hundredths at the start, and she won by 66 hundredths down. Now, I don't know how good a ride that was by Thompson, how compared to we know it was a bad ride by Nicotina from Russia. Beautiful lines, 13 to 14, 12, 13, 14 combination.
Set to clear the track. The track is now clear from the finish to start number 1. Start 1 for Lucy Schaefer.
Another young Australian athlete, Lucy Schaefer, 9th and 8th in her first 2 World Cup appearances. Look at them shoes. Good starter here, very consistent. This type of track fits her personality. 300s better than the Canadian Robin Thompson start time.
As she comes down through.
Look at the feet now. You don't want to see the feet dragging. That means she's lost control, needs to adjust. Those feet act like rudders. And when you touch your toes down, that's not real good for time.
And now 8. Getting set up for that difficult 9-10 transition.
Boy, 1500's better. But on the bottom part of the track, Thompson, 113 speed down there. We'll check that time out. Really smooth. Now it's up to 19 out of Benham's Bend. Speed decent into the finish part of the track. 19, 18, 19. This is a good time. Lucy Schaefer, first 3,500's better. Eric Bernardus, longtime USA athlete, now coaching the Australians. Looks on, he likes that, and I don't blame him. Sun popping through. Flags are blowing 90 degrees, gusting. But our Australian competitor, Lucy Schaefer, just shows everybody how to get through this chicane. That's about 75 miles an hour. Your chin inches off the ice. Happy birthday, Dad. They're listening down there in Australia. We got our streaming back there. Janine Flock from Austria. She's ranked 11th in the World Cup with a 7th place finish in Calgary, but then she fell to 16th last week in Park City, Utah. Start time.
Time set down by Schaefer. She beats it.
5.50.
Her start time.
Third best
8
start
100ths of a second that she now has in her pocket as she comes down.
Anybody with a medium start time and a good drive down at the bottom can be in the lead through the first 3 sleds that have come down.
Going through the Devil's Highway. Making our way through 7-8.
Listen to that scratching.
Walk having a great run so far, almost 2/10 of a second out in front now. Let's check for next.
2,500's lead. Exit a shady. Head up a little bit.
Into the labyrinth.
In the labyrinth. 3-quarter combination. Little wild there. Still going up though. 113.4. It's great speed. Right down the middle of chicane. Good lines on the big heart curve. Crossover 18 to 19 is good. Bullet form. Uphill section. Another leader. And boy, does Martin Rettel, the coach, former Olympic silver medalist at the 2002 games for Austria. He's happy with his young athlete, Janine Flock, who posts the best time of the 4 sleds so far.
And Michelle Steele.
Exit of Shady. Head up a little bit. Look at this into 13. Adams Bend 14, 12, 13, 14 combination here. 12, there's 13, 14. She's the leader, Janine Flock of Austria. Now, Canadian Sarah Reed, 6th in Calgary. Bronze medal last week in Park City. She has really come on. 5'1" or 2" in height.
5.43 starts getting better and better.
On the tour.
5.43 start
Watch
time.
her
7/100ths of a second out in
she
front.
is a glider. She won again last year in the World Cup at least once. Medaled numerous times. 600s right now, real high there. This is the Devil's Highway. Real high in a couple spots, and that was reflected. Those high lines put her behind by 3/10. So the Lake Placid track doesn't give much up to anybody, even the good sliders, and now she's falling further back. This is not a typical run for the Canadian Sarah Reed. Way off the mark, and that Devil's Highway 5, 6, 7, 8 really set her back with the 4th best time, 6600ths back. That isn't the time that I expected out of this Sarah Reed, who's ranked 5th in the World Cup. And up top, look at this high line here. Look, it's high late there. This is 3. Slide over to the right side and take a tap. But this is where it started to get away from her. Look at her sideways into 4. Bang, she comes in the middle of that curve. She didn't catch up for another 150 meters down the track. That's where she lost all her time, up there in 4, 5, 6, and 7. Uncharacteristic of that good Canadian slider, Sarah Reed. Another athlete up to the top of the track, Shelley Rudman of Great Britain. She's ranked 4th in the World Cup because she's got 4th 2 consecutive weeks. The world champion from 2013 in St. Moritz last year. Always gets great starts. Now she's only 400ths back.
For Shelley Rudman, so her push time of 5.54 gives her about 4/100ths of a second.
A different frame than Sarah Reed. Sarah Reed's short, powerful athlete. Shelley, tall, thin, almost looks like a long distance runner. Oh, she looks a little late there. Boy, she's got 500ths, but she's not had a clean ride. Boy, big speed though. Look at the wind gusts and chicane. Best speed we've seen so far. Should be the leader here in the bottom unless she negotiates a bad 18-19. Looks good. Now in the uphill section. Boy, she's flying. No, she's lost it back. 300ths of a second. Wow, Shelley Rudman had the big speed. I think that gust of wind might have come into play. Problems down in the chicane.
Set to clear the track. The track is now clear from the finish to start number 1. Start 1 for Katarina Heinz.
Look at this gust of wind. This is where I think she got taken by Mother Nature right there. That gust of wind had to cost her something. The speed she had was 50 meters above that. Now from Canada, or from Germany, Katarina Heinz.
Start 1, sled and track.
Germany's Katarina Heinz is on the sled.
Doesn't get good starts. 7th best start, that's expected.
0 for the German.
She hasn't had very good results because she doesn't get those good starts. 13th,
on the way down here.
Calgary, 9th in Park City. but she's on the German team because she's a good skeleton rider. And this is the type of track and her talent come push her to the top. But the start time way off the pace. She's down 3/10 right there. Good speed in the bottom. She could move her up though. Slowest start in the field so far. She's got it down to 27. 1:15.2. No one's had speed like that. This is the personality of this skeleton athlete. Long, fast track. She succeeds. And here she is across the finish line, only 12/100ths back. And the coach, Jens Mueller, knows that's the best run of the season for Katrina Heinz. That's why this track presents a different personality of Calgary and Park City the last 2 weeks where she didn't do very well. Here in the Lake Placid track, she shows she's got talent at high speed. Look at the chicane. Textbook little drift to the left side of our screen, back over. 115.2. Everybody else coming through at 113s. Only Shelley Rudman at 114 kilometers.
Number 1 for Michelle Steele.
Now here's the World Cup ranked athlete number 3, Michelle Steele from Australia. 3rd and 5th. Only person with 2 hands on the 2-hand start. Good little athlete here. She is like Shelley Reed. Small, 5 foot. Good starts, consistent. There she is, 5:53.
5.53, that's very good. 4th fastest.
She was
so
one
far.
of the athletes that the Australian Olympic Committee
so
identified that they wanted to start a skeleton program in 2006, 2004 or so, and they took about 10, 12 athletes to Europe. 3 or 4 of them emerged. She's still out here. Won a World Cup medal last week for Australia. It was her 2nd in her career. Look at this, 100th of a second. Out of shady, slingshot effect. Now she's got to negotiate these 3-corner labyrinth and try and get up into the 114-kilometer speed. She has 114. She's a half kilometer down to the German Katrina Heinz. See what kind of time she has on the bottom part of the track. Michelle Steele to the finish. 200s down to Janine Flock, but Eric Bernardus, the coach, still likes that. Janine Flock with the 3rd best start. She's the leader. But boy, this track, this is a little different than the bobsled race we saw this morning, where everybody came down, got slower because of the snow accumulation. Here, the foot came out a little bit.
So stay with us.
Look at her steering away from that wall. Now into the heart. Look at her high.
Clear the track.
She's got to come down. Then it got to go back up. That's where she might have had some issues right there. Michelle Steele, 2nd place. Now our World Cup leader, Elizabeth Yarnell of Great Britain. We're going to find out right here, because this young British athlete, 2nd in the first place, or 1st and 2nd in the 2 races so far. 1st in Calgary because Pike's pace was disqualified. Last week she was 2nd in Park City to Pike's pace. 400s down. 3rd best start though. Ooh, a little high there. Back down to 1. Watch the feet. Slingshot effect here to Shady, and the exit of Shady. Up to 5. Gonna need the big speed, doesn't have it. But this should be good enough for a top 3 if she can hold it, but a lot of steering. Into the finish, going uphill. 200s, wow, what a comeback. Andy Schmidt, coach on the left. Elizabeth Yarnold shows why she's 2nd or 1st place in the World Cup Tour in points. And this young British hope. Exit of Shady here, a little early, comes out, tops the right wall on our picture. You want to exit that Shady cleanly. And that might have been the result of the 200s, but she looks happy. She's wearing the yellow bib, World Cup leader. Our next athlete from Germany.
Start number 1. Start 1 for Anja Huber.
Anja Huber. Berchtesgaden area in Germany. Multiple World Championship and World Cup medals. Fifth and seventh at the first 2 events on tour so far this year. And she's done well on this track before.
5.65.
Very surprised at that start. She's usually one of the best starting athletes in the field. Oh, what a gust of wind just hit us down here. This is the hardest the flags have been blowing, and could barely see out my window. It is really gusty. See how that affects Anja Huber. These are good lines. Down at 12, that's good. Exit, clean, head up a little bit. How does she do down here with the speed in the left? Awesome. Best speed so far. The German sleds look like they're perfectly set for this Lake Placid track. Anja Huber into the finish. Up the straightaway, right there's the finish line. 1600, she takes the lead. Jens Mueller has something to celebrate for the first time this year for the German Federation in skeleton. And you think Anja liked that run? She's been a little bit of slump the first 2 weeks, but get out of the way. Here's the lines, best speed, toe touch, couple of them. She didn't get that gust of wind we saw Shelley Rudman get.
The track here for our women athletes, we have Janine, Michelle, Elizabeth, all within a couple hundredths of a second. So it'll be an exciting run too.
There's our Anja Huber, Flock and Steele in the lead. First run.
2-minute warning for our next competitor. 2-minute warning. Men's skeleton race will launch just about 1 o'clock.
You should see the gust of wind that just hit us up here. I swear to God, my booth moved.
15 start. And the men's skeleton second run at 3:15. So a very busy afternoon. We're glad you're with us. The sun peeking out just a little bit, and make sure you find yourself a warm spot to enjoy the Viessmann FIBT Bob and Skeleton World Cup here in Lake Placid, presented by BMW. We'll be underway in just a moment.
I'd like to thank all our spectators for coming out today, National Sports Academy for coming out volunteering. We also have plenty of young children walking around the volunteers and juries. This race day doesn't happen without all of you guys.
Geht bald nach Hause, Leute.
So there's our leader, Anja Huber, Germany. Great run.
So 13 sleds
I'm
left.
still looking at the weather here. It is hellacious. I can't explain what these athletes are going through coming down the track.
Reverse the finish order for the first 20 sleds. That's how the women will come down in the second heat.
Good field coming up. Still got some good competitors. This Marion Thies could walk away from this with a lead. She's an unbelievable glider. The American Katie Eulander, who's won a world championship on this track. But still a lot of great athletes left in the field, including Canadian Melissa Hollingsworth yet to come, and that little name called Noel Pike's Pace. Great race here.
The track is now clear from the finish to start number 1. Start 1 for Marina Gilladoni.
We're back here in Lake Placid. Gilladoni from Switzerland, former bobsledder. Look at that start time.
5.40.
She's a former brakeman on the bobsled team for Switzerland. Crossed over to skeleton last year. And she is some athlete, but she still hasn't figured out how to drive the sleds. And those 2 bumps right there above curve 4 will not help her chances. with that 40-100 start advantage, she should have been to 60 or 70 now, but she just wants that hang on. Down to 14 already. So that shows you that it's not just about athleticism in the sport. Oh, down even. 114.2 is great speed. That's a great exit of the chicane. It's a pretty good run. She doesn't really have the great results. Coming up the finish line, she's 12th in World Cup points. 6th place. The Swiss will like that. This is a great run. That might be Marina's best run ever in World Cup competition. Wow. If she ever figures out how to drive a skeleton sled, the rest of the world should watch out. That is an athlete right there. And she came down the chicane. Look at her eyes. Can you see her eyes in there? She's looking at that next little spot. Boy, 75 miles an hour. Look at the wind blowing. Look at those just conditions here. Unbelievable. Now, from Germany, Marion Thies, former world champion in Altenburg. In Königsegg, excuse me, 2011. This athlete will have the worst start time of the competition. But watch out for 116-kilometer speed down in the chicane. This is the best glider. The only thing prevents her from winning every race, she runs out of track. Look at that, 12th best start time of 12 athletes so far.
11/100ths of a second off the pace of 5.76.
Watch this deficiency. Be pretty large here. Only 1600. Well, if I put a bet down right now, I'd bet she's the leader at the bottom. Watch this girl glide. Watch the exit of Shady here. Perfect. Entrance to chicane. Look at the labyrinths. Down to 6. 116 speed. There it is. No one else got to that mark yet. This is a speed master, this girl here. Marion Thies showing why she loves Lake Placid and why the German athletes love Lake Placid. Germany, 1, 2, at top of the leaderboard. Coach Jens Mueller, the former gold medalist from East Germany in the sport of luge in Calgary in 1988. He's smiling from ear to ear, and the German skeleton program has not had a lot to smile about in the first 2 World Cups of this year. Look at the exit of 3, little tap. Watch her come straight.
The track is now clear from the finish to
Boy,
start number 1.
training film, you don't want to watch the start, but boy, do you want to watch her drive down the track. Glider, look at all the snow getting thrown up there. Wow. Now here comes another world champion. Katie Eulander, Breckenridge, Colorado. Been battling some concussion issues first couple months of the year. Good start, 5:60, 9th best start, but that's compared to Marion Thies, the leader at the bottom. She's not up to form yet, but she's still got 6 weeks. She was 2nd at the Olympic test in Sochi last year on that very challenging track in Sochi. This is some athlete here, world champion on the track in 2012 here at Lake Placid. 1300's advantage over Thies. Down to 5, speed in the left, 115-kilometer down. Still should be good enough for a top 3. Oh, the feet came out there. Katie Eulander, though, putting in one of her better heats of the season. If she can hold it, the uphill section. Here's the finish line right with that blue mark there. Oh, my. Did she ever lose the speed on the bottom part of the track? Coach Tuff Latour could not believe it. She was in the lead 2/3 of the way down the track. Feet came out of the chicane, but wow. Wow, that's a world champion right there. Not up to the form we're used to seeing her. Look at her feet apart. Real hard hit there. Look at her slide. She's not coming at us. She's sliding across the ice. Feet touches the sidewall. She's still skidding. Wow.
Start number 1 for Maria Orlova.
Not very happy with that run. Okay, another Russian, Maria Orlova, 15th place in the World Cup. Good athlete, gets good starts. Not very good results in Park City and Calgary, but neither did Marion Thies or Anya Huber or Janine Flock have good results on their top leaderboard. So those two tracks are not like this one in Lake Placid. Hard hit, double hit, that's not good. Great start, third best start of the competition. She's the leader by 38 hundredths.
Really trying to maintain that lead.
Wow, down to 26. Bottom part of the track, she exits, slingshot effect, that's what you want out of Shady. Ooh, pretty rough there in the labyrinths. Speed, way off, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers down. She's gonna fall. Just the question is, how many places is she gonna fall? Orlova from Russia, into the finish, 19. Here comes up the finish line right there, 44 hundredths back. So Willi Schneider, the former German, can only look on, the German coach. Boy, here's the rough ride into 12. Look at this. Look at the feet come apart. Not the way you want to be looking at the next curve from that angle. Heads way up. 2 kilometers down in the speed. In the chicane. She's not bad, but look at now the skid. Her and Katie Eulander had similar runs, the bottom third of the track. Uh-oh. Here's this young lady named Noel Pike Pace from Salt Lake City, mother of 2. She won both events this year, except the first one they disqualified. Last week, she blew the field away, starting in the last position in the first run. So Noel Pike Pace, 16th in World Cup points because of that disqualification. Oh, good start, 5:68, 13th best start overall, but the leader had the worst start of the competition. So that tells you this track, it's not about start times here in Lake Placid for Skeleton. She's got the green numbers, still in 1300s. And this is a glider. This athlete here won the World Cup test in Sochi last year, the pre-Olympic competition. Down to 10, not a good sign. But out of Shady, she just slingshot herself down the bottom part of the track, and these are good lines. Back up to 13, speed to the left. No one has had 117 kilometer speed. Noel Pike Pace doing what she's done in the first 2 events so far this year. She has distanced herself from the field once again by 18 hundredths of a second. Wow, Noel, she knows it. She was different personalities, those Park City and Calgary tracks. She knows. Look at the line, 117 kilometers an hour. 72, 73 miles an hour. Look at the lines. Look at Marion Thies. No, there's the, oh yeah, expected. Great pictures. Look at Noel, another day at the office for her. Here comes Olga Poltasina. I think this is the first time we've seen this young Russian, who won last year in a World Cup in Innsbruck. Look at that start, 5:49.
4.9 gives her 0.2 of a second advantage as she comes down through cliffside, staying quiet on the sled.
Well, a little diminutive in size. We didn't see her the first 2 weeks in Calgary and Park City, or some 2 bad bumps there in the entrance to curve 4. That lead is down to 7. But still green numbers. Should be turned to red here pretty quick.
Setting up now for 9, and again, getting back a little bit of time.
There. Shady. How does she come out of Shady? Heads way up. Scratching there. Speed in the left going to be 14, 1:13.4. Probably about the 12th, 14th best speed out of the sliding. So Olga Poltasina from Russia. Not the run she wanted. Uphill section here. There's the finish line. Bang. 13th best run. Almost 1 second off the pace. First time we've seen her. Didn't see her in Park City or Calgary. She was on the North American Cup Tour, which is the lesser tour that gets half the points, but it's easier to pick up more points depending on the competition. And here is the chicane. Look at the head up and sliding. You don't want to go sideways on these little 60-pound sleds. Not happy.
Track is now clear from the finish to
She
start
waves.
number 1. Start 1 for Catherine Eustace.
Well, here's our New Zealand slider. Here's the leaders. Pike's Pace, Tees, Huber, Flock, Steele. 4 different nations in the first 5. And our lone Kiwi in the field, Catherine Eustace, who is also a good glider. Scratching there at the top of the track.
5.53, a 5.53.
She'll have green numbers probably down near shady. If she can hold it, she could be a top 5 competitor. Tall, thin athlete. 1600s as we expected. Now into shady. If she can still have green numbers in shady, it's a good run. But oh, she does. And this is a good glider. Sun's coming out on the track. Things could be getting faster. Down to 6 though, speed 1:15.4. This is still a good run. And she splits the chicane. This could be a medal run. Red numbers, uphill. 4th, great run. Coach Terry Allen knows it. Former American slider. Before most of these athletes were born, he was sliding out here at Mount Van Hoevenberg in the 80s. But his athlete just put down a 4th place finish.
And of course,
it's getting warmer. The sun's coming out.
Remember, 23 women
Question's been breached. Is it getting faster the track? I think it might be. We still got a couple great athletes coming up. In fact, one of them coming up right here.
All right, now. Time to line it up.
Melissa Hollingsworth lives about an hour away from Calgary. I heard the other day it was the coldest spot in the nation, about minus 52 degrees below zero. That's why Melissa's here with us. First time we've seen her this year. Didn't qualify out of the Canadian camp in the first 2 World Cups. This athlete's won on this track before. And watch out for her. So she's got 1700s advantage over Pike's Pace. This is a very formidable challenge right here to Noel Pike's Pace at the bottom part of the track. 1 bump, that's good. She gets this up to 2500s here on the exit of Shady. Minus 10, lost time back. Exit, perfect. Lines, 11, 12, 13, down, oh, it's plus 2, 115 sticks, still good speed. This is still a good top 5 run, if not better. Melissa Hollingsworth, uphill to the finish. 3rd best time for the Canadian Melissa Hollingsworth. Canadian coaches like it. And again, is the track getting faster? But you know, this is a formidable competitor here. This athlete's World Cup title holder, World Championship medal holder.
2 final sleds. So we have a very busy day for you now, Van Hoevenberg.
We'll find out next couple sleds should fall off the pace. Look at the start though. Technically, very, very efficient. Hops on, the sled does not go left to right. How about that helmet? Melissa, always smiling, does a lot of commentary work for us too. Okay. Ledla Prejulena from Latvia, 18th in World Cup points. She's picking up secrets from her 2 teammates. This guy's called Dukars.
Getting some start times to get in the bank there. 17/100 to the second.
She's got the green numbers now relative to a decent start. 8th best start time. 1300s. She holds that at 0 at Shady. She's doing well. This is through the Devil's Highway. Look at that high late. +7 expected. This is a pretty good run though. Out of Shady, not bad.
Second off the pace as she
Whoa, that wasn't the best line. Speed 113, 111. Worst speed of anybody in the field. Only the second time we've seen her on the World Cup. Might be her first competition in Lake Placid. Maybe she was there last year, but she had it. Oh, look at that hit. Going uphill, 18th best place. She's going to have a lot to hope for to get a second run. 23 sleds in the field. Top 20 advance into the second run. Well, I'm finally got a second commentator in the booth here, and as he watches Dick Viessmann. Dick, you know, welcome.
Thank you, John. Good to be here. A little chilly outside, though, today here in Lake Placid.
Yeah, you should have seen it this morning, Nick.
Start number one. Start one for
Is he
Donna
on, Martin?
Creighton.
Donna Creighton from Great Britain. Another one of the... Great Britain's got a great sliding program in the skeleton, men and women. First time you've seen this up close and personal, Nick.
It's exciting. Last time I was here on this track, I got a chance to try luge, so now getting to watch skeleton kind of gives me a hankering to give this a try, John.
Well, we'll get you out there with a helmet.
A quarter of a second out in front.
Good athlete here, Donna Creighton, good starts. Every once in a while, she throws in a great heat, but she's not going to throw in a great heat with the sled going sideways before curve 3.
The Devil's Highway. She's making her way to the Devil's Highway.
She's got 2300's lead. That's going to be down in red numbers here pretty quick.
She makes her way into 82.
Mistake, there it is, as expected. Exodus, head up, no, head's down pretty good. Speed on the left is everything. 70.6 miles an hour. That's not the 72 and change that Pike's pace had. Donna Creighton trying to get in the top 15, going uphill to the finish. She gets 15th place. And Schmidt, the British, Austrian coach.
56.64 for Donna Creighton. John, you were talking earlier about temperatures and how that's kind of maybe affecting the track right now as this day progresses, as well as into the next few. Your thoughts on how this track will respond to the weather?
Well, if it doesn't snow in the track, I mean, that's the wind gusts. You can see the flags are mellow now. We just had some gusts up here that just moved our booth. So, you know, it depends on the Mother Nature. We thought all week long we were having record times of practice, and then this northeastern storm came in and has challenged us.
Japanese slider up next at the start. This is Nozumi Komura.
Komura was atop the leaderboard in Wittenberg, Germany a couple of years ago after the first run.
It's 5.59, so she has a lead.
So she has abilities, but not skidding like that. Like any mistake up there when it's slow. Friction, not really a good asset to the sport.
She's been around the World Cup Tour for a number of years.
Already behind there on the count, 21.77 back.
That'll stretch out to probably 50 here at the exit of Shady. 17. The mistake she made up there in curve 2. Ooh, that's a rough ride through the labyrinths. Speed not anywhere near the top sleds, just barely under 70 miles an hour. In the uphill section of the track, throwing down 20th place out of 21 sleds. Only the top 20 advance. She's got a Japanese sled and a Dutch sled to come behind her to determine whether or not she can advance. It's amazing. In the 21st place is the Russian Nikotina, who won a medal last week in skeleton. Now she won't make the heat in the second run. So in Park City, she had a third place position, and here you can see the reasons why she's going to be all she can do to get into the second run tomorrow. Now another Japanese sled.
Yep, this is This is Tamako Omuke. Following her compatriot now, 2 sliders left to go after this one in the first heat for the women here in the skeleton.
On the bubble is her teammate. So it looks like the Japanese, well, they're still, somebody could bump them if they finish 2021.
Top 20 and get that run number 2.
Plus 13 down. Ooh, really high and shady. Now this labyrinth combination. This was shady here. She was really high in the Devil's Highway.
Not sure if she's going to be able to make that top 20, but we'll see. She's on the
Ooh, hard hit there. She's drifting. We call this section the chicane. Noise. You don't hear scratching, that's good. 22nd place. So the Japanese still have one more chance to have an athlete finish in the top 20.
second run. And then we'll reverse the start order for the second.
So everybody trying to make that
the men will
that
launch.
second run, that top 20. 2 sliders left to go here in the first heat.
About 1 o'clock.
Joska Lecante from the Netherlands will be sliding next. That is Tamako Omuke there. You just saw her run back up to the start now for the Dutch slider. This is Lecante.
Lecante has a chance now to make her second run of the year. Her first 2 events, she did not qualify for a second run.
Faster there, ahead of the count right now. She's got the green. See if that drifts a little, John.
Good athlete, gets decent start times, but driving down the track, that one bump's not bad there in the exit of 3 to 4. Down by 14. She gets it to plus 35 or 40. It's shady. She's got a chance to make the top 20.
Now she's back up the count a little bit, but trying to make that top 20. The question is if you get behind early on this track, John, is the ability to make up that time come lower on in the track?
Yes, you have a chance in the bottom part of this track, not many of them, to make time up. And there's strict regulations for making the Olympic team for the Dutch Olympic Committee. I don't know what hers are, but I bet she's top 12 or 14. 21st, just misses. 21st place, just misses out on the Japanese sled ahead of her, so Joska Lecante will not get a second run for the Netherlands. So that locks in the top 20. And weird first heat. Boy, we've had some. It shows us one thing. It's not about start times here. In Park City and Calgary, it was about start times. Here, as you can see, Lecante just skidding across the ice. Not happy.
And about 4:45, we'll do the awards for all of today's racing. We had the men's 2-man bob earlier. It was a great race.
Wind seems to calm down.
So we'll look back at your first place finisher after this heat 1. No surprise, it's the American, Noel Pike Pace. Her first run, a 55.70, John.
And she started 16th in the field. And she won by 1800ths at the bottom. So this track can really bite you. So we got a great race. The top 3 sleds separated by 2700ths of a second. Looks like she hurt her hand there or something. That's the way she's shaking that right hand, or she's just happy.
That's a fist pump if I've ever seen one.
You got it.
Noel Pike Pace happy about this one in Lake Placid. She comes off of that first run in the lead. Marion Thies of Germany in that second spot, and Hollingsworth of Canada finishes in third.
They go in reverse order of these standings that you see. 20th place. Komoro will be the first one down on the second run. 20th to 1. And the sled you see in the next page, they don't get a second run. Well, Nick, I look forward to a complete second heat with you.
I will be with you, sir, and for the rest of the weekend, so definitely looking forward to it. We hope you are as well.
Pretty exciting racing here in the first heat. No gimmies, that's for sure.
Much more to come from Lake Placid as the bobsled and skeleton races are here all weekend long. We hope you stay with us. For John Morgan, I'm Nick Gismondi, back with more of the men's first heat when we return.